This is Ira Glass of This American Life. Each week on our show, we choose a theme, tell different stories on that theme. All right, I'm just going to stop right there. You're listening to an NPR podcast. Chances are you know our show. So instead, I'm going to tell you, we've just been on a run of really good shows lately. Some big, epic, emotional stories, and some weird, funny stuff, too. Download us, This American Life.
Hello and welcome to Car Talk from National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tapper
That was a
Brothers.
pretty...
Hello, robust, wouldn't you say? Robust?
More than robust.
Alert?
Oh, wait.
Anyway, we're broadcasting this week from the Vacation Planning Center here at Car Talk Plaza. Now, we want you to know that there's still plenty of space available for all sessions of Mechanics Fantasy Camp here at Car Talk Plaza.
I like this
Well,
idea.
it's just like those baseball fantasy camps where you pay about $4,000 to get tips on how to hit, catch, throw, and scratch from some retired Hall of Famer who's really in deep to the IRS.
Sure, we can get old Krusty to run the fantasy camp. Is
You
he
got
running it now? Is he in charge?
Well, not yet. No, we haven't revived it.
Brilliant idea.
Well, at Fantasy Camp, Mechanics Fantasy Camp, my brother and I and Krusty will teach you how to hit, catch, throw, and scratch, mechanic style.
Yeah, like hit your knuckles as you're taking off nuts and bolts.
Yeah, that's one thing.
That's one, yeah.
Catch hell from irate customers. Throw your tools in disgust.
Yeah.
And-
And scratching needs no further discussion.
No, in fact, we could teach the ball players what they can do about that. Anyway, if you'd like to sign up, just, give us a call. You know the number.
Send $1,000
Down
payment
Right.
for the deposit to hold your spot because there are many spots to be held.
Oh, yeah. There are plenty of spots. Don't worry.
And you can come to the camp. Where is the camp going to be? Right at the garage?
Oh, no. We found a bucolic setting for it.
Yeah, I suppose you should. Fenway Park?
Unnamed. To be named in the future.
I like it.
Yeah, as yet undetermined bucolic setting, but it will be something special. You can rest assured. Anyway, if you'd like to call us, our number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Teddy from Stratford, Connecticut.
Teddy, T-E-D-D-I.
You bought it.
Where is Stratford?
Stratford is at the mouth of the Housatonic River.
In Connecticut?
Yeah,
Same Housatonic that's, where does that start? New Hampshire?
Jersey.
I think it starts up near Canada.
Does it
Canada.
really?
Yeah, New Hampshire.
I thought the Avon River went through Stratford.
I think it's a different continent or a different country.
Different country.
Ah, okay. So, Teddy, what's up?
Well, I have an 89 Toyota Camry.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe one out of every 4 or 5 times that I turn on the ignition switch,
Oh, I know.
it
Don't tell
makes
me.
a wretched sound. You got it. It's to,
I was just
fingernails
clearing
on
my
a
throat. I'm ready to
blackboard.
make the sound now.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, my daughter has an 89 Camry as well, and she has the same problem.
Good.
I'd been jiggling the steering wheel, and that would allow the car to turn on. And then that failed, and she said she jiggles the gear shift on the floor between the two front
And that
seats.
does it for her.
And that, does it for me, too.
You know what also does it?
Yes.
Pulling on the left earlobe.
No?
Yeah, you try that tomorrow. You pull on the left earlobe, and it'll start.
Well, maybe
and I'll
it
guarantee you this.
Well, you have to pull on your daughter's left earlobe.
Maybe it will, but here's one.
Yeah.
I noticed that it seemed to be synchronized with the seatbelt, the automatic seatbelt on the door. So in desperation the other day,
Well, this is a
I
good
opened
example.
and closed the driver's side door, and the car went on.
See, if somebody were teaching correlation coefficients right now, this would be a wonderful example.
Yeah, this would be a good example of how scientists go bad.
But, occasionally you run across a scientist who makes it very clear that all we have here is a correlation. We don't know anything about causality. But most people don't say that. They say, gee, every time I pull on my left earlobe, the thing starts up, and I guess I've got it figured out.
Well,
And
I
it's as
have-
likely to start by pulling on your left earlobe as it is doing any of these other things. I'm going to just guess you have an automatic transmission.
Yes, I do.
Does your daughter also?
Yes.
Good guess, eh? You're ready. You're sitting down, Teddy.
There's a 90-10 chance that it's...
Maybe I should hang up now.
No.
There's a 10% chance that it's the starter, which would cost you
the starter
$100.
has been replaced.
No, there's a
then it's no chance of that. Then it's
0.7.
Yeah.
There's a 0.7% chance that it's the starter. And there's a 99.3% chance that it's the flywheel.
That's what my husband said.
And your
He's
husband's
an
right.
astute guy.
You should always listen to your husband. Husbands are almost always right.
Here's what I would do.
Yes.
I would drive it until it no longer starts.
Yeah, I mean, it'll happen pretty soon 3 out of 4 times, and then 4 out of 4 times.
And if you can live with that kind of uncertainty in your life,
Yeah, I mean,
with the knowledge that one of these times you're going to be someplace where you don't want to be late at night,
Right.
and you'll have a
that's what
car
I'm
that
afraid
doesn't start, if you can accept all of those consequences.
yeah, but you've got a long way to go. The wonderful thing about this malady is it really does progress in a nice, predictable fashion. I mean, it doesn't go from 1 time out of 5 to 5 times out of 5 overnight. It's going to
usually
go to
takes
2.
a couple of nights.
It's going to take 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, I would sort of keep track, and as it starts to get more and more frequent, you will have less and less time to get it fixed.
Yeah, I do a fair amount of long distance driving to Vermont, so I really don't want it to happen.
Oh, you
on
need to fix
91.
it tomorrow. Put a new flywheel in, and you will be on cloud 9.
Well, my real question would be then about what price range is this going to be?
Oof.
This is a 4-cylinder Camry, I take it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's several $100s. Yeah, several, like
More
4.
than several. Yeah.
Yeah, 3, 4.
It's severals.
Yeah.
2 or 3 several.
I don't.
It's more like 2 severals. Thanks a million for calling.
Thank you. God bless.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle from Lake Metagoshi in North Dakota.
Lake
Kyle.
Metagoshi. You got to spell that for me.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Metigoshe.
Excellent.
Metagoshi.
Metagoshi.
Yeah.
Lake Metagoshi.
Cool.
So what's up?
Well, here's my story.
Yeah.
I just got married over Christmas.
Cool.
And wonderful wife, beautiful person to be with, but along with that is a car that has potential problems. And she has a wonderful family. I have a wonderful family. And when we got married, my dad didn't think, she's a beautiful person, wonderful person. He thought, great, we get another car to change the oil on over Thanksgiving vacation.
Oh, one of those, huh?
He loves changing oil.
Yeah.
But here's what happened. A couple weeks ago, we had to get a new front wheel bearing. We were told we need one.
Kyle, I have to interrupt for a second. We've been doing this show for
25
close
years.
on to 20 years. And our producer has told my brother 1,000 times, if you're going to drink a can of Coke, don't open it up during
Underneath
the
the
show,
microphone.
in the vicinity of the microphone. Try to open it like before the show, or if you must open
people
it.
think you're passing wind. I'm glad you straightened that out because a lot of people might have thought it was you.
Well, that's why I interrupted Kyle's little narrative, because I wanted to set the record straight. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kyle.
Well, I just want to point out that if you hadn't shaken the can for 20
I
minutes...
didn't shake it.
Before...
It fell down a flight of stairs.
Oh, man.
This wouldn't have happened.
Yes, it fell up a flight of stairs, if you can figure that one out.
It happens. I know it happens.
Jeez. All right, Kyle.
All right.
So,
All
your-
right.
your
So your
father-in-law-
father likes to change the oil.
Your father.
Yeah,
Your
exactly.
father, right.
My father. But we had to get a new wheel bearing in the front tire, and that was fine. But then my father-in-law, Al, he went and bought my wife 4 new tires on her car. So, but the mechanic told him that we need to get the wheel bearings packed.
Rear wheel bearings.
Yes,
Yeah.
on her 92 Pontiac Grand Am. So he told Betsy, my wife, and Betsy told me. Then I called my dad, and he said, no, you cannot pack wheel bearings on the back of a Grand Am. You just can't do that. So here's my problem. I mean, one of them is right and one of them is wrong, and I just don't know how to deal with it.
Oh.
Because both of them are very good with cars, or claim to be.
Well, I think your father, if he said that the wheel bearings cannot be repacked, is he the one that made that statement?
Yes, that's what
I
he
think he's
said.
correct.
That was Kyle's father who said that.
I think these are sealed for life bearings, or 25,000 miles, whichever comes first. So I don't believe that these bearings are repackable.
Right.
Back in the old days, wheel bearings used to come apart, and it would consist of an inner bearing with a race and a seal behind that, and then an outer bearing with its race, and then a lock nut and a cotter pin, and then a cap, a grease cap that fit over that whole thing. So you got the picture? And you could take that cap off, pull the cotter pin, extract the bearings, clean out all the gunk that's in there, put new grease in, and then torque the retaining nut to the right amount and put everything back together. But I don't believe that the Grand Am has that setup. It has a preloaded bearing that comes from the factory, and the thing is just bolted on with the hub assembly.
Sure.
So if it's loose, it means the bearing needs to be replaced.
Okay.
And if you want to find out for sure, you can call a Pontiac dealer or call a parts store and ask them what that rear wheel bearing looks like. If the guy says, oh, it's all one piece, then you know it doesn't get
repacked.
It doesn't get
repacked, right.
But now I'm nervous to tell my father-in-law that he wasn't right, telling me that we had to do that.
I mean, is this going to crush him to find this out?
No, it won't crush him. But I might not get anything for Christmas this year.
I would keep it all quiet.
Okay. I might just figure out myself.
Just figure out what has to be done.
Well, more importantly, I would take it someplace and have them check, because if the bearing really is loose, then it needs to be replaced.
Okay.
Yeah, and don't mess around with that, because when bearing seize, it's not pretty.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
See you, Kyle.
Good
Thanks
luck,
for calling.
Kyle.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Hey, we've got more calls coming up right after this, so don't go anywhere.
This message comes from Wise, the app for doing things in other currencies. With Wise, you can send, spend, or receive money across borders, all at a fair exchange rate, no markups or hidden fees. Join millions of customers and visit wise.com. T's and C's apply.
The House of Representatives has approved a White House request to claw back 2 years of previously approved funding for public media. The rescissions package now moves on to the Senate. This move poses a serious threat to local stations and public media as we know it. Please take a stand for public media today at goacpr.org. Thank you.
These days, there is a lot of news. It can be hard to keep up with what it means for you, your family, and your community. Consider This from NPR as a podcast that helps you make sense of the news. 6 days a week, we bring you a deep dive on a story and provide the context, the backstory, and analysis you need to understand our rapidly changing world. Listen to the Consider This podcast from NPR.
On the plus side, you get sponsor-free listening to over 25 NPR podcasts. On the minus side, you get fewer chances to tap fast forward on your podcast player. On the plus side, you get to support something you care about. On the minus side, you like challenges and think this makes it too easy. So why don't you join us on the plus side of things with NPR Plus? Learn more and sign up at plus.npr.org.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk on National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're here to discuss cars, car repair, and doesn't it come as a surprise?
Associated Press and all the ships at sea. In a complaint filed this week in U.S. District Court in New Haven, Connecticut, Robert Jordan claims that the city of New London discriminated against him based on his intelligence and violated his constitutional rights. Jordan, it turns out, applied for a job as a police officer in New London.
Okay.
Jordan says that Assistant City Manager Keith Harrigan, who oversees hiring for the city, told him, "We don't like to hire people that have too high an IQ to be cops in this city."
Really? Why?
Is this good?
Yeah,
the guy takes the test to be a cop, and they say, sorry.
Too smart.
Too smart. And that's why I say, doesn't this come as a surprise to you?
Yeah.
The city's attorney, Ralph Monaco, declined to comment, saying he has not yet seen the lawsuit. Harrigan, a defendant in the lawsuit, also declined to comment. That's the guy who does the hiring. Jordan seeks injunctions against the city that would stop the alleged discrimination and unspecified compensatory and punitive damages.
Well, it's a little known fact that
gets out.
We took a test to before we did the show.
I remember that test.
Yeah, they hired us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Robert Siegel took the test, too. They didn't hire him.
Well, how about that Ray Suarez?
All right, if you want to give us a call and test our IQ, the number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Hi. Oh, this is Freddie Boom Boom Washington?
This is Steve Brown. I'm calling from Freeport, Maine.
Hi, Steve.
How you doing?
Good. So what's up?
Well, I have a question for you. On a recent trip, we took a long trip out to Oberlin, Ohio to help gather my daughter's things from college.
Uh-huh.
And somehow in the excitement, now this is a 1995 Camry wagon.
You'll have to pardon my brother. He has a case of the winds today. It's okay.
No, I was opening a can of soda.
Oh, that's what that was?
And if you hadn't shaken it as much as you did, it wouldn't have gone psst
I
like
didn't
that.
shake it.
You always shake it before you give it to me.
Inadvertently dropped it, and it fell down the entire flight of stairs. I'm sorry, Steve.
Sorry, Steve.
No problem.
Okay, so you're bumming
so we
around.
packed the car
Oberlin.
up, and somehow I think I lost consciousness for a few minutes. We jumped in the car, put it into gear, started heading down Main Street of Oberlin, Ohio, and somehow I lost contact with reality for a second, and I shoved it into gear. Well, unfortunately, I shoved it forward all the way. It's thinking it was a standard.
And you threw it
but
into
of course,
park.
it's an automatic.
Yeah.
And
Done it many times myself.
It made a terrible grinding sound, and I'm wondering if I've done any sort of permanent damage.
If you park on a hill, will it roll away on you?
No, I don't think so.
Well, then you're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it happens. I mean, if you drive stick shifts and you drive automatics, there are times when you don't know where you are.
Exactly.
I mean, I have that problem most of the time, that I don't know where I am.
Might it not help, or is it possible to design a car in such a way that would not be possible?
Oh, there are cars which you cannot put into park without pressing the little button on the side of the shifter.
Well, I probably did that.
You probably did that, too, right?
Inadvertently.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
I tell you what I've been doing lately. I've been driving an Aurora, an Oldsmobile Aurora, which, by the way, I like.
Yeah.
And it has the shifter on the floor.
Huh.
Well, the car I had been driving prior to that had the shifter on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
So every time I stop and attempt to put it into park, I turn on the windshield wipers, which is the other little stalk there that's sticking out on the right-hand side where the shifter ought to be.
Is this what I have to look forward to when I'm your age?
Yeah. I mean, because it's so hard to pay attention, you know?
Well, listen,
Yes,
thank you.
it is.
Good advice. I'll go put it on a hill and see if it rolls.
Yeah, see if it rolls.
Thanks a lot.
Stay in the car while you're doing this test.
Absolutely.
See you,
You guys are great.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Mary in Berkeley.
Hi, Mary.
Hey, how you doing?
Maybe you guys can help me figure this out.
Oh, we're batting about 300 here today.
This is a tough one. I have a Mercury Villager van,
Yeah.
and it's a 94.
Yeah.
And after I'd had the thing a couple of years, it developed this weird symptom, and the dealers can't figure it out. And of course, I figured they're probably useless. But my mechanic, who is a good guy, very smart, he can't figure it out either.
And you think we're going to figure this out?
Wait, have you been going to a Mercury dealer for this thing?
Yes, I have.
You might have to go to a Nissan dealer if it's really too hard.
Oh, there's a thought.
Yeah. Well,
There's a thought.
we'll ponder.
And that may be the best advice you get from us.
Yeah, except I think that the Nissans have different brakes than the Mercurys do.
And is this a brake question?
It's
I don't
a
think
brake
they're...
question.
All right, lay it
check
on us.
this out.
There
So
isn't a
if-
brake question in the world that we can't make up an answer to.
Oh, good, because I'm in deep trouble here. You park this, if you're driving the car down a slight hill and you stop, sometimes, not always, the brake will let go and the car will roll forward 3 or 4 feet before the brake holds on again.
The emergency brake.
Nope, the foot brake.
Whoopee.
Whoa.
This is really bad for your blood pressure.
Yeah.
So you feel...
How...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you
No,
go.
I interrupted you.
I didn't really have a question.
Didn't I?
Do you feel your foot sink to the floor when this happens?
Yeah, well, not all the way to the floor.
Not all the
though.
way, but you're probably losing half the braking.
Yep,
Yeah.
there you go.
I mean, it doesn't really take off, but it just doesn't stop.
Right, so I told my mechanic this.
And he said impossible.
Larry turns pale and says, "My God," he said, "you're going to end up in the emergency room. Get that thing in here quick." So I brought it in, and he put in a new master cylinder.
Oh, that's too bad.
And a week later, it did it again.
Yeah, I know that.
You know that?
No,
well, I know
it
that
now.
because that was going to be our answer, and and you wouldn't have called if it didn't happen again.
But it's only when you're going down a hill.
Yeah, when
Not
you're
up.
You've got to be on a slope. Like, let's say you're going down a ramp from a parking garage.
Yeah.
And the car in front of you stops, so you stop too, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So there you are. You don't have the handbrake on.
Right.
You just have your foot on the brake.
And then all of a sudden, without warning, the pedal sinks.
And
the car moves. You, of course, step harder on the pedal.
You bet.
The car eventually stops.
Yep.
And then, if you continue to drive it for the rest of the day, the car stops normally.
Right.
Boy, I mean, this sounds to me like a basic design problem that only the dealer will know about.
Well, they didn't know. She took it to the villager dealer.
Well,
what they said
not
was,
really.
What they said is if it's intermittent, they can't diagnose it.
First of all,
you
got to go to the dealer.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to make sure that they understand it so that your heirs will have some basis for
the
getting
suit.
some money out of them.
Yeah. And tell them you can't wait.
I don't know if I like the way this is going.
You're going to tell them you can't take the chance. You can't wait until it becomes non-intermittent because by then you'll probably be dead.
Exactly. So you've got to get either the service manager or the zone manager to drive your car and you drive his.
Mm-hmm.
Leave the car there until they fix it, and that's it.
This thing has anti-lock brakes, does it not?
Yeah. ABS, right? Is that what ABS is?
Yeah, and I think probably what's happening, I think one of the valves must be letting go, and there's some pressure being relieved someplace, and that's why he erroneously concluded that it was the master cylinder. Somehow the accumulator isn't holding pressure. Something is causing a drop in pressure in this thing, which is causing this to happen, and you want them to replace everything.
Yep.
And I think you want them to do it at their expense.
You bet.
Right, and don't take that BS about it's intermittent and we can't do anything about it.
No.
Bull. I mean, would you want to fly on an airline that said, well, we do have that intermittent problem with the wings falling off. When your wing falls off, you come and let us know about it. Nah. Unacceptable.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to tell them that story.
Good luck, Mary.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. If I live, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Call us from the hospital.
I'll see you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Is it time for a break yet?
Yes, it is. And when we come back, I have to talk about the state of education in America.
State of education. Is that like near Alabama? We'll be back in a minute.
Decades ago, Brazilian women made a discovery. They could have an abortion without a doctor, thanks to a tiny pill. That pill spawned a global movement, helping millions of women have safe abortions regardless of the law. Hear that story on The Network from NPR's Embedded and Futuro Media, wherever you get your podcasts.
On The Indicator from Planet Money, we like to zoom in on big economic issues like tariffs and crypto and healthcare.
Let's have a healthcare system where people are kept healthy and not treated only when they're at the most expensive moment when they're sick.
Economic deep dives in 10 minutes or less every weekday. Listen to The Indicator from Planet Money wherever you get podcasts.
On NPR's Throughline.
School teachers are going to be the ones that rebuild our society in a way that is more cohesive. Basically, where soldiers set down their arms, school teachers need to pick up their books.
How the U.S. Department of Education tried to fix a divided nation.
Listen to Throughline wherever you get your podcasts.
The Constitution, the border, the rising costs of everything. Issues this important can't be explained in a one-way conversation. Sometimes you need to talk things out. Every day on the 1A podcast, we bring together experts and public figures to discuss the topics at the top of your mind, so you hear more sides of a story and understand why it matters. Listen to the 1A podcast from NPR and WAMU.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk on National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're here to discuss cars, car repair, and an old puzzler.
Actually, we're not even going to discuss an old puzzler. We're just going to tell you where you can get an old puzzler. As you probably know, the puzzler is on a much-needed vacation. He and Martin Gardner were last seen packing their bags.
But if you're dying for a puzzler this week, all you have to do is go to our website, which is the Car Talk section of cars.com. where we are posting every week this summer a classic puzzler from the Car Talk Puzzler archives. And you can read it or listen to it. In fact, you can listen to it again and again and again and again. So do whatever you want.
So the archive puzzlers, one a week, can be found at our website, the Car Talk section of cars.com.
Now, before we take another call, I know you've been dying to shed some light on the state of education today. So go ahead. The floor and the ceiling are yours.
Get this. The Missouri Assistant Attorney General Eric Vieth got a court order to bar the International Commission for Schools for issuing any future college accreditations in the state. I don't know what this International Commission for Schools is, but evidently they say that colleges are accredited to do certain things. Mm-hmm. For issuing any future college accreditations in the state after it granted one to a fictitious school created by the Attorney General's office.
Aha!
So the Attorney General's office makes up a school.
Got it.
Here it is. Viet's office had asked the commission to accredit Eastern Missouri Business College, a college they described as granting doctorates through the mail in fields such as marine biology, genetic engineering, and aerospace science, even though it's called a business college. Get this now. Now, here's the good part. The college faculty included Arnold Ziffel, which is the name of the pig on the Green Acres TV show, Eddie Haskell,
we know Eddie
from
Haskell.
Leave It to Beaver, and, get this, the faculty, M. Howard, Jerome Howard, and Lawrence Fine, otherwise known as
Larry and Curly.
Larry and Curly. The college's seal in Latin read, Solum pro avibus est educatio, which loosely translated is, education is for the birds. And these guys, the International Commission for Schools, accredited them.
Well, they fell for it.
They fell for it.
I love it.
M. Howard, Jerome Howard, and Lawrence Fine. That's good. At least it's good to know that a lawyer, which the Attorney General might be, has a sense of humor.
Well, I consider it entrapment. I'd complain.
I think entrapment is fine.
You do?
I mean, if people are supposed to be doing a job, and you contrive a way to find out if they are in fact doing their job, yes, that's entrapment.
Like hidden cameras?
But they're not doing their job, clearly. I mean, these guys are accredited. They said this is an accredited school. I think entrapment is good in all cases.
I'm with you, man.
Always good.
All right, look.
And anyone who doesn't like it is a crybaby. That's what I say.
I'm with you.
Okay.
At least until they catch you, and then I'll be on the other side. Anyway, if you have a question about your car, our number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, my name's Gloria, and I'm calling from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Hi, Gloria.
And I have a 88 Volkswagen Jetta.
Okay. Yeah.
With about 133,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
Good.
And she's been pretty good to me, for the most part.
Yeah.
Good.
I started a new job a couple months ago where I'd be traveling about about an hour away. Pretty much highway, like 60 miles each way.
Yeah.
It's very flat.
So it's 60 miles of flat, straight highway.
75, 80 miles an hour.
Got it.
Very boring drive.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that after I've been bored for a while and my foot hasn't moved, all of a sudden I lose power. Like I'm hitting the gas and I'm not accelerating. And in fact, I'm decelerating, which is very odd and can be dangerous when you have lots of trucks around you.
Yeah, and they're all doing 80 miles an hour.
Right. So I noticed this, got really scared, and there was an exit and pulled over, started it up again, and it was fine.
Okay.
So, and then the problem goes away. So since then, this has happened several times.
Oh.
And so what I've started doing, I did a little experiment, and started just varying the gas all the time. So making sure to like give it gas, not give it gas, give it gas, not give it gas.
And it doesn't happen when you do
And then it doesn't do that.
Yeah, that's bogus.
What?
That's a nice. No, I think it's a nice experiment.
It was quite ingenious.
It was no.
But you're saying that's not what's really going on?
No, but that's okay.
But let me tell you my other trick.
Yeah.
When it happens, okay, I can't keep pulling off the highway all the time. Otherwise, I'll never get to work.
And you'll get fired.
And you get
Right.
You won't
fired.
be able to afford to fix the car.
So this is what worries my husband the most when I told him I started doing this.
You throw it in neutral.
Yes. And I turn it off and on while I'm on the highway.
What do you mean turn it off and on? The engine?
Yeah.
So you're coasting.
I'm coasting. I throw it in neutral, turn off the radio.
This was your
whatever.
husband's idea, wasn't it?
No, it was my idea.
No.
I just came up with it, but he's worried that A, I'm going to like blow up the car, or B, I'm going to blow up the car.
But I mean,
he's not worried about you.
Yeah, he's worried about me.
But I mean, how do you maintain this 80-mile-an-hour speed with the engine not running?
Well, I do it, you do it real quick, and
Yeah.
I go to the slow lane.
Uh-huh.
But if I do it, I notice if I don't do it, I'll slowly just decrease in speed.
Uh-huh.
So, couple questions. A, am I killing my car by starting and stopping it on the highway while I'm moving?
No, you're not, but you might kill yourself.
That's dangerous.
So you gotta,
to do.
you have
Wow.
to stop doing that.
In 75, 80-mile-an-hour traffic, I wouldn't want to be coasting.
But I don't coast, really. I mean, it's just instantaneous. Turn it
Yeah.
off and then on.
Oh, I see. You don't let it coast for long. You just
No.
shut the engine off and turn it back on.
Exactly.
So you have some theory. You've had now 2 theories.
Yes.
You're very good. Are you a researcher of some kind?
I am.
Yeah. I mean, you are.
What do you research?
I do public health research.
Sure. And you're dealing, you probably have in your mind a gigantic orthogonal array, right?
Yep.
And you're trying all these different, as we call them, treatment combinations.
Exactly.
Good for you.
Thank you.
They're both completely stupid.
No, I have no idea about cars. I know that. I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
I'm clueless where cars come in. That bothers me a great deal.
No, but you are a scientific sort. That's
oh,
good.
yes, you
because,
certainly are. The off and on thing.
Yeah, I like it.
But it
I don't know
has
why
to
I like
work.
it, but I like it because you have to do. If you don't do anything, you'll learn nothing.
That's right. You always have to do something.
That's how I feel.
So you've given us now enough information to be able to solve the problem.
Oh, good.
Well, you.
Yes.
Well, yeah. You have. Unfortunately, we haven't solved it yet, but I'm leaning toward.
Are you leaning toward what I'm leaning toward?
What are you leaning toward?
Well, I was.
I'm trying to lean toward the wall so I can take a nap.
Well, we can ask her a leading question. When was the last time this car had like a tune-up?
Oh, about 8 months ago.
8 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if the fuel filter was changed at that time?
There you go.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty sure.
It's never had a new fuel pump,
Uh-huh.
but the fuel pump was checked. And
Why was it checked?
Why was it checked?
Because you had a previous incident?
Yeah.
Aha!
Oh.
I suspect you have a bad pump.
Yeah.
But they just checked it like 3 weeks ago.
Well, what did they check?
They said it was bringing up fuel.
Oh, so they just looked.
Did they do a pressure test on it? You ought to put a gauge on it.
Did they do that?
I'm
You don't
not
know.
sure.
You weren't there.
Because
There are
I mean-
3 ways to test a fuel pump.
Okay.
One is the cheap and dirty approach.
Okay.
You disconnect the output line, you
Mhm.
crank the engine, and if gas comes out, you say, it's fine.
Okay.
Which is maybe what they did.
Which is maybe what they did. That is the stupid way of
All
checking.
right.
The other way is to check the pressure.
All right.
Which is the only right way for this car because it's a fuel-injected car.
Right.
You have to know that you have the right pressure.
Right.
Okay.
And you have to know that you have the right volume. Because it's possible for fuel to come out but not at the right pressure. It's possible for fuel to come out at the right pressure but not the proper volume.
Okay.
In which case, in any of those circumstances, you have a bad fuel pump. And that's what I think it is too. And it's only once a month that my brother and I agree on anything.
And this is it.
All right.
And you, Gloria from Ann Arbor.
Yay.
See you, Gloria.
Well, thank you very much.
See ya.
Drive
Okay.
safely.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's happened again. You vaporized yet another hour listening to Car Talk. Our esteemed producer is Doug, not a slave to fashion Berman. There's just no getting away from that, is there?
There isn't. No, he just
Our
looks
associate
better every day.
producer and dean of the College of Automusicology is Ken Babyface Rogers. Our assistant producer is Catherine Imelda Marcos Ray. And our engineer is Jonathan Superhighway Sideburns Marston. And our menu advisor is Mr. John S.
Lawler, who's not here.
Not here, no.
Our public opinion pollster is Paul Murky of Murky Research, assisted by statistician Margin Overa. Our customer care representative is Haywood Jabuzzoff, assisted by Kurt Reply. Our director of catering is Russell Upsongrub. Our director of winter motorcycling is Helmut Cole. And our director of brake testing is Tom Stoppard.
Yeah.
Tom Stoppard. There you go. Peekaboo Street directs our intensive care unit, which is known as the Peekaboo ICU. Our director of moral support is Hugh DeMann. Our sexual harassment counselor is Hat McCann. And our Leo Tolstoy biographer is Warren Peace, author of Leo Tolstoy by Warren Peace. Our chief counsel from the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe is Huey Lewis Dewey, known to the American Association of Disgraced Lawyers as Huey Louie Dewey. Thanks so much for listening. We're Click and Clack. The Tappert Brothers don't drive like my brother.
Don't drive like my brother.
Or our sister. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
And now here is our chief mechanic, Mr. Vinny Gumbats, with some highly germane information.
Jermaine, hey, we speak English here, buddy, you know? Now, if you want a copy of this week's Car Talk show, which happens to be show number 29, you call our Shameless Commerce Division at 1-888-CAR-JUNK. You got that?
Yes, and if you wanted other car talk paraphernalia, would they call the same number, Vinny?
No, you called Chainsaw Al Dunlop. Nope, of course you called the same number. 888-CAR-JUNK. Or you can get stuff through the online Shameless Commerce Division at cartalk.com.
Thank you very much, Vincent. Your broadcasting skills are improving markedly.
Mark this, will you? Car Talk is a production of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe and WBUR in Boston.
And even though dogs hide under the sofa when they hear us say it, this is NPR, National Public Radio.
Hola, it's Sarah Gonzalez. At Planet Money, when we say we want you to understand the economy, sure, we mean tariffs and global supply chains and interest rates, cosas así, but also we shot a satellite into space. We made our own vodka, became a record label, made a comic book, all to help you make better sense of the world around you. Listen to the Planet Money podcast from NPR.
You know those things you shout at the radio or maybe even at this very NPR podcast? On NPR's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, we actually say those things on the radio and on the podcast. We're rude across all media. We think the news can take it. Listen to NPR's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me wherever you get your podcasts.
On the Planet Money podcast, the economic world we've been living in for decades was built on some basic assumptions. But the people who built that world are long gone. And right now, those assumptions are kind of up in the air. Like the dollar as the reserve currency. Is that era over? If so, what could replace it? And what does that mean for the rest of us? Listen to the Planet Money podcast from NPR wherever you get your podcasts.